Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. So I'll start my lecture now. How are you, Neeraj? How is everybody?
I'm fine.
Yeah. So today I'll be trying to finish one more topic from the Unit 3, and that is International Affairs. And from that unit, I'm going to take up very important economic topic, business topic, that is de-dollarization. What does de-dollarization means, and what are the implication, who are the countries who are involved in de-dollarization, and how is it going to affect the international trades. Okay, so before I start, let me start with my presentation. One second, just let me plug in my mouse and back on tablet. Okay, I hope the screen is visible. Is the screen visible to you?
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it is showing now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll proceed now. In current affairs, sorry, there is a mistake on this slide. It's written current national stories. So it has to become now, it will cover both national as well as international, because de-dollarization has something to do with us on a national level also. Plus, in national story, I will add one point here. That point will be, that can also be added in international affairs, and that is about cryptocurrencies. And that lecture I will take maybe in my next session. Okay, so in current international stories, one dominating economic or business news is on de-dollarization. So here is the syllabus, but just let's have a look at it, where we have reached now. We have covered international affairs, security councils. One second, let me take my pen. Okay, so we have covered Security Council issues that engage, role of the United Nations is done, issues that currently engage UNO, this is also done. Now, 4 conflicts and issues of international importance. So we did conflicts. Now issues may we are going to do de-dollarization. Okay, here. And this de-dollarization, I want, the same topic, why I did not do this one. Sorry, this third one dominating economic business news. So this is one of the very important business from business point of view, because all international trades are done in dollars. All right, most of the trades between the countries, the currency that is used is dollars. Okay, so we'll move on de-dollarization and why it is so important. All right, now it is basically, if I have to tell you, it is basically a shift from using dollar to some other currencies as a mode of transactions. Okay, it has already done major shift in Asia already. China and Russia both are very giant, big countries who have already started with the de-dollarization move, and China has a very strong de-dollarization strategy, and both of them, Russia and China, both of them have dumped the dollar. Dumped the dollar, literally they have dumped it, and they have started trading in their own ways. Now, this is a story of a long-term strategy, because how Russia wants to change the world scenario as far as world trade is concerned, and China has its own ambitions, from petro yuan to de-dollarization of Asia and world. You can read the newspaper like Macro Capitalist. It's a world economic newspaper, and you should always follow these two three. I'll tell you: CNBC International TV, then Micro Capitalist, and Vionka the Finance. Okay, these three news channels or newspapers, they really cover very good economic news. And then Russia and China, they push towards de-dollarization, and they had a bilateral meet also, which talked about the same. Now, de-dollarization is basically, it's a part of a policy to manage foreign exchange currency risk, as far as you don't have to literally go out of the way to use dollar, so that in case there are two countries involved, you can swap the currencies, so without using dollar. So in that way, dollar will lose its importance, and that is what these two giants and other countries, they wanted. And it is not that they want it because of themselves, but because of certain reasons that has been that has come into front because of the United States policies also. It has put lot of sanctions on other countries, and it is trying to bully around the with other nations. It's trying to put them under pressure, and trying to boss around. So that is the reason of the shift from dollars to other currency, maybe euro, or renminbi, or other currency. So Russia removes dollar completely. It had already done it, and from sovereign wealth fund of Russia and US sanction threat, after you had United States of America has done some put some sanctions on Russia, all right, related to Ukraine and other wars like situations. So on 4th of June 2021, Russian Finance Ministry said that from 4th June onward, it will remove dollars from the National Wealth Fund, and it will make it zero. You can understand the impact. It is going to make it zero, and it is not going to be easy. America is not going to sit silently. The National Wealth Fund keeps the fund accumulated by oil revenues of Russia. So currently the dollar in Russia is at 35% of this fund. So it's not easy. 35% is also not easy. Now it will be changed into other currencies, maybe yuan or euros, or if not any currency, they can use gold. Okay, so one second, I've written something for you. I'll just see if I'm not missing any point. So it's all done. So in this regard, yeah, I've covered all the points. So in this regard, you will observe that China and Russian ties are getting very stronger as far as de-dollarization drive is concerned. China wants to become world power. Russia it's already a world power, and this is because of the Russia, mainly because the sanctions that had been put by United States. Okay, but China has its own game plan. It has already started on many fronts to become world power, like US. It is Belt and Road Initiative, then forming capturing the ports and giving loans to the countries where later on it can use its ports and airports for its own benefit, so that it can cover the whole of South Sea and other places. So China has a different ambition. Russia alleges that it is because of States sanctions that it has imposed on Russia, um, which are which Russia thinks that they are actually not called for. So US, on the other hand, it is not sitting quiet. You know, it alleges that Russia is involved in large scale of computer network hacking and other illegal activities. So that is why it is imposing sanction. So it's like a war of tug of war between these two nations. It's been always there ever since World War II had stopped, right? So two major countries that had come after the World War II was Russia and America. But after Russian collapse in 1990s and 91, US had become number one, but never in its dream, I think, it had thought that China will emerge like a superpower. All right, but here Russia, though it is denying that it has done any type of illegal activities like computer network hacking and other things, but Russia, on the other hand, I would say it is China who had been doing it, because when lockdown was imposed for the first time and Zoom meetings were held and all. So Zoom's headquarters and everything was in China, and it was alleged that China has hand in monitoring the Zoom meetings of various important profession people who were on a very high secret meetings and all. So for some time it impacted the Zoom and all, but then later on Zoom company came up with its own clarification that it is not so, and Zoom will not allow any other country to hack its systems. So, but it is always there. To be very frank, it is always there that countries, they try to find out more information what other country is planning. So if the headquarters are in their country, so they have more control on that, on their working and trying to sabotage things. And every big country is doing it. If US is alleging that China and Russia are doing that, so is it that US is like sitting like a saint? No, not at all. The US is also doing the same thing. Every country is doing it because they want to really know what is happening inside the meetings that are kept so secret. So let us see what are the sanctions that US has imposed that has created so much of stir in the international markets. According to the sanction, the US banks and institutional investors, they cannot invest in Russian government's ruble denominated bonds. Okay, so this can seriously damage Russian economy. This was a sanction that was imposed on Russia. So in response to this sanctions, what is Russia doing? Definitely, it is going, or it is pushing towards de-dollarization. So de-dollarization is basically an after effect of the sanctions and bossing around the whole world. And there was a need which was felt by many nations, not only China and Russia. I'll very soon talk about other countries as well who have Iran per se, but there are many other countries who have started dumping the dollar and started, sometime they don't use the dollar at all. They have a country swap system, which I'll talk about in my later slides. Okay, so, and it is a strong message. It is a very strong message from all the countries that Russia and other countries, they don't fear any sanctions imposed by the United States anymore. And because of this, you must be seeing that US has started losing its power, and that is why China is becoming more powerful day by day. But China is also not less. Okay, so it is just like, um, there's a Hindi का कहावत, कहते हैं कुएं खाई से निकले नहीं, पेड़ से गिरे, आसमान से टपके, खजूर में अटके, something like that. So it is, if you start moving towards China, then also I don't think so it is a good idea that the Chinese currency should become a currency in which the world trade should go on. So we'll have to find out something very different. If we are interested in shifting from dollars, that it should not be towards any other country's currency. It should come up now. There is a need of a global currency. So that is another, a big discussion that we can lead into. But if we have to move from dollars, it has to be either currency swap between the countries, which is not very easy and not feasible. So there has to be, world economists, they have to come forward to find out a solution for this. Okay, because whichever country who has, whose country becomes the country for the trade all over the world, that country will start to boss around, whether it was US per se, or if it becomes Russia or China or Euro, whatever. So it has to become something which is neutral to all the countries. All right. So, you need a very strong leadership to take strong decisions. But right now, Russia has a very strong leader. Putin is a very strong leader. China has a very strong leader. Xi Jinping is really very strong. India also has a very strong leader. But still, I would consider that Modi is not doing that a great job as far as de-dollarization is considered, because we are still in a growing year. We have still not become number one, or we've still not become world power yet. So that makes us little feeble or weaker as far as taking all these top of decisions are concerned. But still, India, because of Modi, it has started currency swap with Iran, because Iran ka jo oil pact that was signed, uh, it was signed. Iran oil pact, crude oil pact was signed between India and Iraq, and rupee was to be used for the trade. And India also dumped dollar because Iran has already been imposed sanction by US, right? So also with United Arab Emirates, Sushma Swaraj had a pact where there will be a currency swap. I'll show you all those things. Okay, so now, do you know which is the richest wealth fund of the world, of any country? Any idea? Richest wealth fund of any country? I'll show you one picture right now. Okay, so here you see the world's biggest sovereign wealth funds. Okay, you see this is government pension fund. So it is Norwegian government pension fund is the world's richest. Okay, Norwegian government pension fund. Then who comes second? It is China. All right, you can see that Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, Hong Kong Monetary Authority, Kuwait Investment Authority, all these they come. So this is the ranking. So as per this, now you must be wondering, where is India here in this list? Okay, so you see the figures 1122 1045, even the National Security Social Security Fund. Okay, this is such a big figure. So India का जो इसमें value है, it's only 3.9. So you can imagine where India stands here. Okay, so India's sovereign wealth fund is called actually NIIF. Here it is not mentioned because they have given the top funds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Top 8 world's biggest sovereign wealth fund. Okay, so India's sovereign wealth fund is called NIIF. That is, I'll write it for you. What is the full form for this? One second. Here I'll write it for you. Okay, so National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. All right. So, and this is controlled by Government of India. It is controlled by Government of India, and Government of India has around 49% stake in NIIF, and the rest is investors like बाकी के जो है 51% is HDFC and Axis Bank and Kotak Mahindra and etc. Okay, and there are few more. Okay, so these are the major stakeholder. All right, so you can imagine where India stands. So India cannot take such decision, but it has already started taking such decisions with few countries who have already got the sanctions of US imposed on them. So because India wants oil from Iran, so it has started trading in rupee, and Iran has agreed because it has to do business with somebody or the other. So many, if it cannot do in US dollars, and sanction has been imposed, so how it is going to run its country, because it only survives on oil. All right, so India has agreed to trade on rupee. Iran has also agreed. Then United Arab Emirates also have currency swap situation. So now the question arises. The bottom line is the main question that arises after understanding this: why actually dollar has become so powerful, okay, of global currency of trade. So the story goes like this. Basically, from 1870 to World War I, till then, pound sterling was used as a global currency. You know what is pound sterling? This. So why pound sterling was used as a global currency? You know the answer very well, because British empire was spread all across the world. So it was the common currency that could be used all around. Okay. But then what happened after World War II? So between World War II and this pound sterling was used before. So between World War II and World War One, I'll show you this picture later. I'll write something here. So pound sterling was used all over the world because British Empire was spread all across the world. But what happened between World War One and World War II? Basically, during this period, the value of pound sterling went down drastically. People started investing in gold, because during this period, this was a period where you can say it was British Empire was slowly withdrawing itself from the world scenario, because most of the countries have started revolting or started fighting for freedom. Okay, so this was the period when people actually started investing in gold, and the investment in the sterling was losing importance, and during the end of the World War II, by the time World War II ended, people were already wanting, to create a new global currency. And in World War II, Britain had lost most of the, its allies, and all most of the countries, they also became independent after World War II. So an immense need for a currency which could, take over in case you have to trade between different countries. So which currency should be common? That was the time when dollar, you know, showed up in the world, picture. And according to, every most of the countries, they agreed on this financial system, that the now World Bank and IMF, International Monetary Funds, were established. So they agreed on a financial system where the US dollar was declared as a international reserve currency. So from here the dollar started becoming international currency after World War II. Okay. So just because US was holding most of the gold, the reason was only one. Why it was agreed to? Because United States had most of the gold reserves with it. Okay. So after this, rest of the countries also fixed their exchange rate according to dollar, and the dollar became accepted as a global currency, you can say. So in global investment funds and trading, dollar became standard. Now, though, everywhere, in case you have to move to any country, you always, keep dollars in your pocket. But in late 20th and the early 21st century, there were two major world power, Russia and China, along with the United States. So what are the reasons for rise of Russia in that period? How did China became more, aggressive? So the China story is basically different. Reason for rise of China is basically the Chinese Communist Party came to power, and People Banks of China at that time was established. So Chinese, I'll write it for you because where's the pen? One second. So Chinese Communist Party, okay, this came to power, and then People's Bank of China. Okay, this bank was started by the country because China got independence in 1949. Okay, so and it launched its official currency. This is called renminbi. Rin, RINMINBI. Okay, so its official currency renminbi, which is called people's currency, and its one unit is called yuan. Yuan. Okay. So if you are asked what is China's official currency, then it is renminbi. Okay. All right. So its one part is yuan. China has a goal, of pushing renminbi as the international currency. Now you understand. If we are getting away from dollar, so we will get into the trap of renminbi. And why I said ki asman se gire khajur pe atke. So we don't want that to happen. So I think this is the time when everybody is trying to shift from dollar, and we should not get into the trap of renminbi, because just once we get into that trap, then China is going to be the superpower, leaving behind Russia and America as well. So this is the time when it's like very important for the world economist and everybody to come forward and find out a solution. If not dollar, then not renminbi also, then what? Then what? What should be there? How should we trade? Okay, so in this pursuit, China has launched cross-border interbank payment system. This I will show you. This is called cross-border interbank payment system. Okay, because China is very aggressive, It is very aggressive in many fronts. The reason is, first of all, it has a big population, and that population is under government, totally under government. It does not has a voice of its own. So this population is working totally for the government. As compared to India, India also is having big population, but government is not controlling the population. Okay, so that's the difference why China is aggressive, and it's trying to become, and it is going to become in power very easily. Had this case been with here in India also, India would have become world power long time back, because we are in a democratic country and we care for people. So that is the reason our progress is slow but very steady. But I'm telling you, this progress, even if the China is making a very fast progress, it is going to fall flat very soon, because the revolt has already started among the Chinese population. Silent revolt is already there. People are not happy there. Okay, so this CIPS thing, which is cross-border interbank payment system, it can help China in making it a world currency. Renminbi, it is helping China to make renminbi as the world currency. Okay, so IMF also, International Monetary Fund, has also complied with this, to make it worse. In 2018, it accepted it. So if China makes a correct economical strategies in the coming years, and keep itself away from poking nose in other countries, and stop being aggressive, and tries to take care of the people also, people of China also, so the revolt is also under control. Okay, so yuan has the chances of becoming the next international currency, or renminbi, you can say, because yuan is a part of renminbi. So the process where countries are shifting away from dollars to other countries is called de-dollarization. I hope you have understood what de-dollarization means. Okay, so let me see what is the time, if it is time to take a break. Okay, no, we have still 48. We still have 12 or 15 minutes to go. So I wanted to show you one video. Anyways, so India's stand, I will talk about India's stand also, but before that I'll talk about Russia. That was China's stand that I told you. Now Russia's stand is that it has accelerated the process. Russia has also accelerated the process of de-dollarization, especially after 2014. So this de-dollarization thing has basically found its, after 2011, there has been a shift towards de-dollarization. So Russia, after 2014, accelerated this process and is trying to make international monetary transfer system. International monetary transfer system. So it is basically not interested in pushing its own currency as the international currency as compared to China, but it is in a way better that it's just trying to make a system where you can trade in different currencies. So I think what Russia is trying to come up with is a more acceptable idea to all the nations of the world, as far as um, renminbi is portrayed as the international currency. So US and Russia relations are getting bad, and Russians relation with China is substantially improving. See that there's a twist here. US and Russia, the relationships are going bad. US and China, the relationships are improving. Russia and India improving, but China and India not improving. So there's so much of confusion here. So it's like, but these are not the only four countries. There are other countries who are in play. France is there, then Iran is there, um, Arab countries are there, all the Arab countries are there. Then there is Turkey, which also has got its role in de-dollarization. So since March 2021, China and Russia, they have, I'll change the ink so that you know which countries now I'm talking about. So China and Russia, after March 2021, so they have declared to take joint initiative to end the Western dominance and the dependency on the dollar, US dollar. So this was a major date when March 2021, China and Russia, they publicly signed a pact where they have denounced the dominance of US dollar, and they have come forward and have joined initiative. So it is a clear cut announcement that they are not interested in dollar anymore. Okay, and this was sealed on March 2021. All right, so moving forward, there's a video that I want to show you, but so actually whichever country has its currency in the financial market, that country gets many privileges. So if it becomes the renminbi, then it will become number one. If it is a dollar, it had already become number one. Russia stands little chance, but then because it is already devising a system wherein there will be no country will have its own um, monopoly, you can say. So international monetary transfer system is something that if worked on, and some changes are done in these policies also, we can take it forward and for the future system. Okay, so India's stand, let me now talk about India's stand. Okay, since India is an emerging economy, and now it is impossible to ignore India on the global trade. So India also has its say, but since it is a growing economy, it's not so strong because of its emerging status. You cannot overrule India's stand also. So before I say, let me talk about foreign exchange. So it is the mechanism of changing one nation's currency into other, for either tourism or for trade or for business, whatever. Okay, so India, I will say, currently it is the sixth largest economy, growing economy. Okay, and it is actually one of the biggest merchandise importer. So that is why you cannot overrule India. Okay, so it is biggest merchandise importer. So India is directly and indirectly impacted by the sanctions which are either imposed on Russia or Iran or any other countries from which India has got bilateral trade ties or anything. So India is presently not at de-dollarization phase, but it has uh, with Russia, it has signed what is called, I'll write it in a different ink, it is called ruble rupee agreement. Okay, because it cannot rule out Russia. We got S-400 tank also on according to ruble rupee agreement, because there were so many sanctions imposed on Russia by US and dollars could not be used. So agreement with Russia for S-400 missile system deal. So as a result of US economics, they put penalties against Moscow. Okay, so India has also had to switch to rupee for the purchase of Iranian crude oil. Okay, so उसमें क्या किया? So it has used only rupee. Okay, so because Washington, it has reinstituted sanction against Tehran after 2016, I think. I'm not very sure about the date. Please check it in the Google when it has. I think Donald Trump did that. So it was by the Trump government. So yeah, then I think the date is right, 2016. Okay, so now there is a India and United Arab Emirates. I'll show you the pictures. I think that will be a good idea. So this is the S-400 missiles that were taken with this ruble rupee agreement with Russia, and this has angered United States because उसका चल नहीं रहा है ना, the sanction वो लगा रहा है, कोई मान नहीं रहा है, and they are trading on their own, and even the barter system has started between the countries. You give me this, I will give you that. So that way, so there is no use of dollars, right? All right. So with this, I think this this is a picture that shows that India inks the pact with Iran to pay for crude imports in rupee. So there are many other pictures that I have collected from the net and wanted to show you. Then India's United Arab ink currency swap agreement with Sushma Swaraj. Here they try to do currency swap. Okay,